é gostosa, ela é perigosa, ela é fofa, ela é doce, ela é tão linda, cozinha bonitinha, makes every head turn where she goes. Ela é sexy, so sexy, yeah, yeah, yeah. This girl on my arm, I feel like the king of the world, yeah, yeah.
My name is Vanessa Mangombi. I am 30 years old and I currently live in Maryland. I am originally from Angola. I came to live in the United States when I was 7 years old with my family. I'm currently working on obtaining my master's in psychology, specializing in applied behavior analysis from Capella University. I also work full-time as a behavior therapist, providing ABA therapy to children with autism and developmental disabilities. From a very young age, psychology and the study of human behavior has always been a huge interest of mine. I can think of one specific moment in my childhood that kind of triggered that. I remember my cousin had came to the United States and then he went to Canada. When he came back from Canada, his behavior was just so different. Like he would sit and he'll face the wall and he'll just have conversations with himself. I remember that I just always used to look at him and wonder what was going on with him. Why was he so different? What was going on with his behavior? I was definitely that child that was a curious child that would always ask things that are on my mind. And I remember asking my family members about it, and it was just something that was so hidden and hush, and nobody really wanted to talk about it. And I always remember, I always used to wonder what happened. And then when he went back to Canada, he vanished. To this day, we have never heard from my cousin. We have no idea what happened to him. As I started to get older and learn more about the cultural stigma that surrounded mental illness in Africa, I started to understand better why my family members never wanted to talk about it. But I still wanted to learn more about psychology, and that just triggered my eagerness to want to work in that field. I took an AP course when I was in high school, and from that moment I fell in love with psychology and knew that I wanted to work within the field and help improve the quality of life for those individuals that are struggling with life difficulties, mental illness or conditions, trauma, etc. The platform will work towards promoting more awareness of autism in African countries. Autism is growing as a global health concern, and practitioners and researchers are working diligently to spread more awareness, develop research programs, and effective treatments for autism. Unfortunately, for children and individuals with autism living in Africa, they don't always have access to trained clinicians, effective diagnostic tools, and effective treatments. Often children and individuals living with autism are often stigmatized or hidden in society by their caregivers and society as a whole. This is very disheartening for me because I work hands-on in teaching children with autism social, communication, language, and adaptive skills. I have seen hands-on working with children from different types of race that through teaching them these methods that they can also learn, that they can also develop those appropriate and social adaptive skills that help improve their life. It's disheartening for me to think that there are children in African countries and in other countries that don't have access to the same effective treatments and proper diagnostic tool. Research shows
challenges in autism awareness are rooted in the culture taboo surrounding disabilities and mental conditions in Africa. Often children and individuals with autism are believed to be possessed or cursed by their parents' evil acts. This leads to stigma and shame from the family members, which in turn results in hiding and sometimes mistreatment and abuse. Often parents feel helpless and overwhelmed with everyday struggles, along with lack of support from the community.
As the future Miss Africa USA, I plan on working with nonprofit organizations such as the Global Autism Project and other organizations that are working towards spreading knowledge about autism and training and developing more autism centers around the world, including African countries. I plan on attending seminars and workshops where I can talk more about what autism is, what are the early indicators, and what are the effective treatments that are available for autism. I also plan on discussing my personal and professional experience working with individuals and teaching them those skills that help improve quality of life. My ultimate goal is that through spreading and advocating for more awareness of autism in African countries, I can play a piece in promoting change in laws regarding public education and health interventions for children with autism, as well as improvements in diagnostic tools, more trained clinicians, as well as more social inclusion for individuals with disabilities in African countries. Join me as I embark on this journey to spread more awareness and promoting and changing the global perspective of autism, as well as mental illness and mental conditions in African countries. So vote for me, Finessa Mengombi.